Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So recently I attended a Amouage event at Harrods as part of the Meet the Perfumer events. Those kind of happen every summer. And most of the time when they happen, the brands launch a new fragrance basically. So when I attended the Amouage one, they of course were launching the new fragrance Reception, which is part of the Essences collection. And you won't believe what they gave. They gave this goodie bag which has the samples of the first three fragrances that they launched as part of the Essences collection. And then they also gave a travel size of the new fragrance Reception in the most beautiful travel atomizer that ever has existed, because I've always wanted one of these. So I'm going to show you that first. This is Reception, the new Amouage fragrance as part of the Essences collection. This fragrance, though, I'm going to talk to you about in part 2 of the video. And in today's video, I'm going to briefly tell you what I think about the first three fragrances that launched mid last year, maybe, or late last year. And that is Lustre, Outlands, and Reasons. The reason why I'm splitting up the video is because these three fragrances came out last year. And just in case you just want to know about these three, then you can watch this video. And if you want to know about Reception, then you can stay tuned for my next video, which I will be uploading next week. So the Essences collection is a new collection of fragrances which was created by Renaud Samon, who is the Chief Creative Director at Amouage. He literally oversees like all things under the creative space at Amouage, from the scent profiles of new fragrances to the bottle designs, marketing as well, like the way they're going to market each fragrance, but also things like what will be served at the Amouage Cafe, for example, which opens, I don't know, randomly throughout the year. He literally looks after everything in the creative space at Amouage. And he is super creative, because I have watched his interviews many times with Persolaise, and even the event that I went to, he has some incredible ideas. He really enjoys experimenting from the sounds of his interviews. It's amazing to see that Amouage kind of supports him in doing this. Every time I hear him talk, I'm just like fascinated more and more by the brand and the work that he does. So the Essences collection is made up of 4 fragrances now. The process of these 4 fragrances was different to normal processes. So the fragrances were infused with Australian sandalwood chips inside oak wood barrels made of specific wood in France. I think the aging process was also slightly longer. And that's why they call the whole process double infused. So because of this, all 4 of the fragrances have like this spicy, woody feel to the fragrance, along with other notes as well, which kind of make them a little bit different to each other. When I first tried them though, I think late last year I tried them. To me, they seemed like complex fragrances, but actually these 3 that I'm going to talk to you about today are not as complex as the last one that they've released, which I'll talk to you about next week. They are very unique though, so don't take them lightly, and definitely give yourself time to understand them before you say you don't like it. So the first one we're going to talk about is Lustre, if I've pronounced it right. So on record, this has notes of cardamom, orris, sandalwood, cedarwood, patchouli, myrrh, benzoin, labdanum, cypriol, vanilla, styrax, and tonka. You would expect this to be complex, but actually I will tell you exactly what this fragrance feels like. So as expected, it definitely opens warm, spicy, and woody, a little bit balsamic as well. I do think that the cardamom stands out at first though. It then becomes like a lightly spicy, warm, woody, vanilla, resinous scent. And this is how it dries down, so there's not a lot of complexity in this fragrance. In my opinion, I actually thought this was the least complex out of the 4. So now, if you're familiar with Amouage fragrances, then think of it this way. The warm vanilla spicy scent is material, combined with the resinous of Interlude Man. That is basically how this smells. So although Interlude Man is really strong, the resinous in Lustre is controlled perfectly, but it's clearly evident. So if you like both material and Interlude Man, you can't actually layer them together because it would be way too strong. But Lustre is the fragrance you want for that combination, because the 2 of them are very controlled in this version. I quite like this one actually. I thought it was easy to wear and perfectly done without being overpowering. But in simple terms, that is what this fragrance feels like. If you know material and you know Interlude Man, then you will understand what I'm saying. That warm, spicy vanilla is material, and that resinous is from Interlude Man. and combine the two together, and that's what you get in Lustre. Then the next one is Outlands, which was created by my favorite Cecile Sorokian. I actually don't think that there's any fragrance that she's created that I don't like, so I would be surprised if I didn't like this. But do I like it enough to actually wear it? So this one is slightly more complex than Lustre. In this you have elemi, Sichuan pepper, frankincense, cardamom, lemon, patchouli, loads of spices, rose, orange blossom, vanilla, ambergris, oud, birch, musk, and labdanum. So again, on record, there's a lot happening, but what does it actually smell like to me in simple terms? So this opens sweet, spicy, and sparkly, and has some of that booziness from Intoxicated by Killian. The spices then start to take over more, coming to the forefront with hints of lemon and bergamot. So the intoxicating spices really dominate in this fragrance for at least 1 hour before the fragrance starts to dry down. This fragrance is not Intoxicated by Killian, so don't get confused. It's just the spices that give me that similar feeling. But Intoxicated by Killian is super boozy and super powdery. Outlands isn't. Outlands dries down to a spicy, woody, slightly animalic oud with hints of vanilla. You also definitely get birch in the dry down, which I can sense on my skin. So this one again is perfectly done, just like Lustre, and I'm definitely not disappointed. I like the smell. But to be honest, I wouldn't wear this because I find it a little bit too spicy for me personally. I know that loads of people in the fragrance industry have loved this fragrance, and obviously I know Intoxicated by Killian is such a popular fragrance. But yeah, this is basically in simple terms of what Outlands smells like to me. Again, let me repeat, don't get confused. This is not Intoxicated by Killian. It's just that spicy note that reminds me of it basically. Then the last one we have is Reasons. So Reasons is defined as a woody, spicy fragrance with cardamom, pink pepper, hazelnut, cinnamon, pine, cypriol, davana, cashmeran, patchouli, sandalwood, myrrh. That's just to name a few. This one seems even more complex than the other two. But again, what does this actually smell like in simple terms? So Reasons opens spicy and woody, just like the others, but it also has like this nutty pine feeling to it, which makes it like an aromatic, spicy, woody scent. So whilst the others actually came across quite unisex, the other two, this one to me feels slightly more masculine. I definitely get the cardamom and the cinnamon in this too. And I also get some myrrh at the beginning. And then when it dries down on my skin, it feels like a balsamic, slightly herbaceous, woody amber scent. This one definitely has a bit more complexity than the other three. And the dry down is definitely more like an amber woody scent. So that's the three that I'm going to talk to you about in today's video. And these are the three that were launched last year as part of the Essences collection. In part 2 of this video, I'm going to talk to you about Reception, which is this fragrance over here. This is the new launch, which is a Harrods exclusive, so it's only available in Harrods. The review for Reception will be live next week, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you have any questions about these three fragrances I've spoken to you about today, let me know in the comments box below, and I will see you guys next week for Reception.